I wanted to introduce you to another project we're working on, the penny farthing. This has been something that's been in the making for quite a while. The biggest challenge so far has been this wheel. This is the second iteration. I had trouble getting the thing welded up properly. The first guy didn't weld the spoke hole pattern correctly, so it turned out that that's a lot more important than one would think. What I did is I just took a couple aluminum wheels and cut them apart and spread them open with a vise, just pulling on it slightly until we had somewhat of a round shape and had them welded together. The spokes are just stainless steel wire that I purchased from McMaster Car. I threaded the ends and spoked this thing up. As we've ridden it here and there, the spokes are straightening up, and I continue to tighten them. The hub is something I custom made out of a nipple and a couple flanges. I welded the square taper from a bottom bracket that I cut in half into the end, and then made a flange with the bearing in it. This needs some work yet. I haven't got that far with it. Also, I had a tire made. A penny farthing tire is really just a piece of rubber tubing with a steel wire going through it, and it gets brazed together. This one was mounted at one time, but as the wheel straightened and became more round, it became loose. So I took it off, but it needs to be reinstalled. The forks were basically part of a bike that I bought from my neighbor. It was just a 26-inch 10-speed, and all I did is cut the end off and added a little bit of length to it. The bottom where I have the bearings is a little bit more involved, but we'll cover that in a future video. The frame started off as just a portion of the bike frame that was there, and as I got on it and it flexed, I added more supports until it seemed stiff enough. This is actually two bikes. It's a 26-inch bike that I mentioned that I bought from my neighbor for $20 at a garage sale, actually, and also a child's bike where the back wheel, which was the front wheel obviously on that bike, but that's where the back wheel came from, and a lot of the tubing came from this. All the tubing, the seat, the handlebars, everything is just repurposed from the other two bicycles. The next project is mounting the tire back onto the big wheel, which we'll be doing in a future video. After that, I'll be redoing the bearings so that they're more like a cup bearing, the bottom cup being able to be removed so that the wheel can be removed for service if need be. Also, we need to add a peg for mounting the bicycle. The bike is too tall to get on just like a regular bicycle, so what you need to do is run next to it, jump on the peg, and then throw your foot off over the seat so that it can be ridden. It may not be a coincidence that this is mounted against the garbage cans. Maybe that's where it belongs.